another installment of the 94 podcast. I'm Brooke Edel, joined here with my co-host Jim Bushy, live in Green Bay. I'm live in Brooklyn Park. So much to really tackle on this 7-Eleven. How are you doing, Jim?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing great, thank you. FIFA World Cup later today, Norway versus England at 4 p.m., followed by the nightcap with Argentina and Switzerland. Two great games, Norway, England, Argentina, Switzerland. Messi having the opportunity to get back to a World Cup, Norway and England and Switzerland, all representing Europe very strongly. Out of the final 8 teams, 6 are European descent. So it's a very strong showing by the European continent in the Americas. Obviously, Team USA got knocked out in the round of 16 by Belgium. Belgium fell just the other day to Spain. So Spain and France, they make up one half of the Final Four. And we get to figure out the rest of the Final Four today with both Norway and England duking it out. The battle of the top goal scorers, both in the Premier League and in the World Cup. The Golden Boot race has heated up as well. Messi, Mbappe tied at 8. Erling Haaland with Norway is at 7. And you also have Harry Kane at 6 with England. And Dembele just scored another goal yesterday, or I think 2 days ago. So he's at 5. So, and again, Spain also has a candidate, but they've survived. They will take on Mbappe and Lamine Yamal. That'll be the big matchup in the World Cup there. But your takeaway so far, Jim, with the World Cup, and have you caught some games?
I've caught some games here and there. I watched a little of the USA games when they were on. Terrible game against Belgium. If they played better, I know they lost 4-1, but if they played better, it would have been I would have watched the full thing. But once they were down 3-1, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to watch the rest of this. And bad goalkeeping in that game, but it is what it is.
Yeah, no, it's definitely tough as a U.S. fan to watch your team, watch your nation lose on the world stage. And Team USA didn't really have that fight that everyone was expecting, especially, a month before the tournament was going to start. The hype into the tournament, you get through the pool play. You lose unceremoniously to Turkey. Turkey was already out of the tournament, but you lose, but then you kind of lost that edge a little bit. You go on, you get to the round of 32, you take care of Australia. You win that round, then you make it to the round of 16, and you're faced with Belgium. Well, you had Bosnia. You took care of Bosnia in the round of 32, and then you had Belgium, and Belgium has a history of making things tough on Team USA. Not only was Team USA the only host that got knocked out in the round of 16, Canada and Mexico both got knocked out as hosts. Canada losing to Morocco, and also Mexico losing to England in the Azteca. I feel the worst, obviously, for the U.S. because, you want your home team, your home country to win. Mexico's right up there, too. I feel bad for them because they had the juices flowing at the Azteca in Mexico City, which I believe the Vikings will be in at Azteca, Mexico City, coming up against the San Francisco 49ers. That's week 10. That's way down. That's way down into the fall, mid-fall at that point. But before we get there, let's talk about this Mexico team. Like, did you watch any of the Mexican soccer or football games this World Cup?
I caught the England game. I mean, the game. First of all, that game started what, an hour and a half late because of weather, and
Yeah,
then it
weather
was just
delayed.
stoppage after stoppage, VR penalties, and it was crazy. I caught catching the end of it, and I think that was the first time in like I don't know 5 years that the Mexican national team has lost a game or something like that, or 3 or 4 years. So, I mean, that was a big game to watch and everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like they had won like so many consecutive games, like 22 consecutive like national team appearances. I don't know if they call them caps, but like yeah, they had a like an extended run where they were just not losing. Like Team Mexico started the tournament hot. You know, they took care of South Africa. You know, and you know they go on and they win their pool, and they were really leaning in on that home field advantage. So that's why I feel really terrible. It's just because now Mexico has to watch this next matchup between Norway and England and think, what if? What if it was Norway and Mexico? We won't know what would have happened, but a lot of the Mexican fans, I'm sure, are replaying that game against England this past week. So,
Well, you also got to understand the culture with Mexico. Like,
yeah, the
soccer is
culture.
huge down there. And, I mean, out of the three nations that should go get eliminated, I think they took it the worst because it's one of their pastime. It's one of their games that their national team, they have more pride in it. And I believe, like, the U.S. and Canada does. Like, they go all out. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be more devastating for them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. El Tree definitely had the hardest blow to their supporters, country, and also like the patriotism that a lot of the Mexicans were showing as hosts. You know, they were proud to be from Mexico, and they were showing that to the world. And again, tough blow that to the Mexicans worldwide. You know, because you definitely want to see your team compete at the highest level, and knowing that you had that opportunity to potentially play one more game in the World Cup, potentially put you in a position where you're going to be in that Final Four. Is a pretty cool aspect. And then also knowing that, hey, Mexico's not that far away, USA's not that far away, and Canada's taking steps in the right direction. That's how I'm kind of seeing this right now. But great overall World Cup. It'll wrap up a week from today. It'll be in New Jersey, July 19th. And we'll be talking about one of these teams, either Norway, England, Argentina, Switzerland, France, Spain. For sure, we'll be talking about one of those teams for sure. And the Golden Boot race. We did talk a little bit about that. Messi, Mbappe, they're tied at 8. Holland, Erling Holland with Norway, he's at 7. And I think Harry Kane's at 6 for England. So yeah, lots things to really break down. Argentina had a very controversial win against Egypt, where a goal was taken away because of a late foul that was called 20 seconds after a goal was scored. So a lot of the Egyptian fans were saying, hey, in protest, like, why are we not getting the same kind of fairness with the ref? So lots of controversies, and you expect that with the World Cup. There's going to be pressure. There's going to be meltdowns, and let's just be honest. Egypt had a meltdown. You're up 2-0 in the 80th minute. You gotta hold on. There's no excuse. No excuse. You're up 2-0 against the defending champs. Why did you stop being aggressive? That's the one thing I just don't understand. When teams play not to lose, they end up losing.
Yeah.
Like almost 100% of the time, they lose because like you can't just hope the opponent to lose or wish that you don't lose, but you're not making winning plays. That's the thing. in those 13 minutes, because it took them 13 minutes from the 79th minute to they were tied at 2-2, and then also for them to take the lead in stoppage time. They scored those 3 goals in those 13 minutes. They get the first goal just to get on the board, that relief. You break through in the 80th minute, boom, Messi comes back and he ties it with an incredible goal, and also the 3,000th goal at the FIFA World Cup. He's just doing insane things. So he has 21 goals in, I believe, like 31 FIFA World Cup games. Mbappe is right behind him at 20 goals in 20 games. So that's a goal a game. You're that dude. If you're scoring a goal a game, you're that dude. And Mbappe, I think, is going to crush Messi's record. I think Messi is just renting the record for the summer, maybe. He might have it for 4 years if he's able to at least hold off Mbappe for most goals. But it looks like Mbappe is like a runaway train with this, because if he's scoring every single game, like you really are not going to withstand Mbappe. Mbappe is going to own this record, and he's probably going to obliterate the record, because the original record was at 16. The record for most goals in any FIFA World Cup is 13. So that'll be the number to watch. If they can get more than 13, that would be a FIFA World Cup record. So they got Argentina plays tonight, and they also get one more game if they survive against Switzerland. So 1, 2, and then if they win that game, then they'll be in the World Cup. So there's 3 more games for Messi, Lionel Messi. So there's 3 games. Kylian Mbappe has 3 games. Erling Haaland has 3 games. And all depends on who wins between England and Norway. One of those players will be eliminated from the Golden Boot race. But let's talk about other sports here. I know that we're getting very World Cup fever, because that's what happens every 4 years. It brings the world together. Wimbledon's going on. I don't know if you've been catching a little bit of the Wimbledon action.
Not really. I mean, it's been on when I'm either at work or I'm just relaxing, and I actually forget it's on TV, to be honest.
Gotcha. Okay. I think right now it's the Wimbledon's women's final. It's Noskova versus Mochkova in the Wimbledon women's final. That is some intriguing stuff going on right now. I think for the men's final is coming up Sunday. I think it's going to be Sinner and Zverev. I believe Sinner's from Hungary. Or no, excuse me. He's from Italy. And Zverev is from Germany. So that is the Wimbledon's men's final. That's for tomorrow. But as we're taking a look at the rest of, I see the Scottish Open right now. If you're watching golf, to the golf fans, they have the Scottish Open. It's in progress. Looks like we got Jordan Smith is 9 below. Rory McIlroy, Englishman, he's 9 below. I don't know if this is accurate. The Scottish don't like the English, do they?
Not really. Not that I know of.
So how would they feel if Rory McIlroy or Jordan Smith, they're both Englishmen, win the Scottish Open?
That would be very interesting to see if that happens.
Oh, absolutely. And knowing that the Scottish people are very prideful people, but very cool what they were able to, they they took on Boston, and Boston was not able to really contain the amount of the Tartan Army, they like to call themselves.
I mean, hell, they drank Boston dry, which is crazy.
Right. Like, yeah, exactly. They ran Boston dry, which is crazy. But that's the
And then,
Scottish Open. Yeah.
didn't the Scottish people try to bring back ranch to Scotland and they couldn't do it?
What?
Didn't, like, Scottish people try to bring ranch to Scotland?
I'm trying to catch what you're saying. You're saying what happened with.
People tried to bring a ranch back to Scotland in bottles. They got them confiscated at TSA.
Okay. That may be the case. Kim is also tied at nine under. All right, so that's the rundown right now. We are talking about FIFA World Cup. Did a recap of the Golden Boot race. Little touch on Wimbledon final, the women's final going on, men's final tomorrow. Scottish Open. We got Jordan Smith, Rory McIlroy, and you got Kim, all tied at 9 under par. You also have the WNBA. You got the WNBA underway. WNBA is past the halfway point. You got the Liberty versus the Lynx. That's a tip-off at noon. That will be at Target Center. And then you have the Portland Fire against the Atlanta Dream. And then you have the Connecticut Mercury, which I think...
Mercury?
Yeah, the Connecticut Mercury.
No,
right?
Connecticut Sun.
Oh, no, you're right. They're the Phoenix Mercury. Phoenix Mercury.
Yeah, I was just saying.
I'm getting confused because the Connecticut Sun, they're moving from Connecticut to Houston. So now they'll be renamed to something else. They'll probably be the Houston Comets, which was the other, which is crazy. Like, Houston used to have a WNBA team, and they were like winning the WNBA titles. Okay. Anyway, that's a tangent.
I mean, great.
Yeah.
It's a popular growing sport. I mean, I don't blame them. I mean, hopefully the league continues to grow.
Right.
I really do.
No, absolutely. The Minnesota Lynx, they're exciting. If you haven't been to a game, definitely check them out. Olivia Miles is the next best thing since sliced bread. She is point guard 1 for the Minnesota Lynx. And they'll be taking on the New York Liberty. And that's like a rematch of a WNBA final back in like 2024, if I'm not mistaken. So the Lynx, that was the last time that they were in a WNBA final. They're still looking for title number 5. They have 4 titles as a franchise. So this could be one of those proving points this game for the Minnesota Lynx. We're still waiting to see if Nafisha Collier does get back, because she is one of the stars for the Minnesota Lynx. But Olivia Miles has definitely stepped in as the number 2 overall pick in this WNBA draft out of TCU. The rookie is looking like a veteran out there, Jim. I don't know if you've caught a little bit of the buzz or seen some of the highlights, or no? Yes?
I have not.
No, okay. Well, Olivia Miles, if you're ever in Minneapolis area during the summer, the Lynx are playing, definitely check her out. Check them out. The Lynx are definitely a winning program. Speaking of teams that are trying to get to that point, to become a winning program, it starts with the summer league, Jim. The NBA has a summer league going on right now. It's got one of the top draft classes, and we just saw the draft of AJ DeBonce, Darren Peterson, Cameron Boozer, Caleb Wilson. And then also Keaton Wagler was the top 5 pick. So LA Clippers with Keaton Wagler, Chicago Bulls with Caleb Wilson, Memphis Grizzlies with Cameron Bruiser, and it was the Utah Jazz with Darren Peterson, and then the Washington Wizards with AJ Anitsi Dabonse Jr. as the number 1 overall pick. So you got Trae Young, you got Anthony Davis. They're showing up to the Summer League. So it lets you know the Summer League is on with all these rookie stars. And normally I would be in Vegas right now, but it's just, life just sometimes it throws you a curveball, and that's what it is. But yeah, that would have been a really cool spot to like cover and like obviously just like try to get as much access because Summer League is probably the best opportunity to get access to a lot of these players. A lot of these players are in the same arena watching their teammates play. So it's essentially it is like spring training or like training camp, but it's just like a more of a centric location for all the NBA teams, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, because everyone keep them in shape over the summer.
Exactly. Yeah. Stay in shape and exactly enjoy the summer league because I know it got shut down back in 2020, and Anthony Edwards never got to play in a summer league. That would have been cool because he would have been playing against LaMelo Ball. And that transitions perfectly into the next topic. LaMelo Ball was officially introduced by the Minnesota Timberwolves. So LaMelo Ball will be sharing the same backcourt as Anthony Edwards. Number 1 overall pick in 2020, number 3 overall pick in 2020. Same team, same starting lineup. This is exciting, Jim. This really unlocks that superstar capability for Anthony Edwards a little bit more. You're getting him pieces to the puzzle for a championship. You need a point guard. You need somebody that's going to handle the ball, take the pressure off Anthony Edwards so LaMelo Ball can create. LaMelo Ball can also score. He's a three-point threat. So that stretches the defense so they can't be always doubling Ant with the ball. And LaMelo is going to be able to find other players. He's going to be able to find Rudy Gobert, Jaden McDaniels. If you're also able to get guys off the bench like Ayo Dosunmu, he'll be a great complement to the style of play for LaMelo Ball. It's run and gun. And also defensively. I think defensively the team gets stronger. You lose Mike Conley to Boston, but again, Mike Conley, Minnesota Mike, we like to call him around these parts. It's a great run. You just got accepted. Boston's been kind of poaching Minnesota players the last couple of years. I don't know if you noticed that. They got Luka Garza. Now they got Mike Conley. They also got Josh Minot. Are they just building the Wolves West, Wolves East out in Boston? What's going on? Like, I guess what is it? Brad Stevens, the GM for the Boston Celtics, really likes the players that are coming out of Minnesota in the program. A lot of things are developing in the NBA. Free agency. Where's LeBron James going? Because that's the main talker. I think he's going to go to Golden State. It makes sense for him logistically to stay in California. You don't need to sell your house. You're just basically just moving to a condo in San Francisco. Like, I think that's the easiest kind of transition, especially this late in your career. I don't see him going to Minnesota. I don't see him going to Cleveland, even though Cleveland's home. But I don't think LeBron at this age, at this ripe old age of 41, he is not moving back to Cleveland and dealing with those winters. I don't think that's not in the cards for him. I could see Miami, and that would piss off a lot of people, Jim. That would piss off a lot of people, Jim. If he was to go to Miami, everyone would just say, that's just a cheat code. Like, you got Giannis, and now you want to go back to Miami? and go play with Bam Adebayo, that would be a cheat code. Like they would win in like the next 2 years for sure.
I mean,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll be trying to. He probably wants that ring one more time, but I, I mean, who knows? It's it's going to be crazy to see where he goes. I mean, it makes sense for him to stay in California. I don't think he goes back to any place that's cold.
No way.
We'll just have to wait and see.
I don't see it. I just don't see it, Jim. Like I think LeBron is LeBron has become Hollywood since his time in LA has begun. And that was 8 years ago when he started in 2018 with the Lakers. It was cool. It was hip. He got the Lakers a title. I was happy as a Lakers fan, but I knew that the end and like the divorce with LeBron, it was just not going to be pretty. And it's proving that. It's proving that. It was just like, all right, well, he knew that he was not returning, and I was okay with that. I've accepted that. We're moving on with Luka. We're moving on with Austin Reeves, and then also you're getting Walker Kessler. So you're getting pieces to win, and I think with LeBron, it was just like, hey, we have this window to win. We have this window to win, but there was not a real like timeline or a real. I just didn't really think that the timelines were matching up with the actual direction of the team. And also with JJ Redick. I don't know if JJ Redick is the right guy for the Lakers. We'll see. He'll get one more year to figure this out without LeBron in the picture. But again, you got to prove it, JJ. Like, JJ, you need to make it at least to the Western Conference Finals. You can't get knocked out in the first round. You got to get to the Western Conference Finals for your job. Like that's how I would really approach it if I'm the GM. If I'm looking at it as like, hey, if you want to remain in this premier head coaching job, you gotta prove it. Like that's what Mike Brown did with the Knicks. If he didn't get the finals, he's probably getting canned, and that's New York. Like you have all the pieces, and I think if you draft well, you really have an opportunity in the West. But yeah, getting back to it, LaMelo Ball, cool introduction to the Minnesota Timberwolves. As Timberwolves fans, I think everybody should be excited. You're going to see just a more watchable brand of basketball where at times I felt like this Chris Finch offense was just stagnant. Like they would kind of stand around and just hope that Anthony Edwards would make a play, or you're always just shooting threes, and you can't just shoot threes. You could shoot your way out of a game if you're just always relying on threes. I think you need to set up a little bit more of an inside-out game.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just can't always do what everyone else does. You have to change it up and find a way to be better.
Very true. Very true. All right, so that's the summer league. Let's talk about. I think UFC got a ticket later on tonight. It's Conor McGregor versus Max Holloway, Part 2. I don't know if you're going to be or watching or keeping an eye on any of the UFC stuff.
If I get a chance to watch tonight, I'll watch it tonight. I mean, it just all depends on how work goes today.
Gotcha. So that's a little bit later on. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep. And then this is one thing that I would like to do. And then we did talk about this, Jim, off air first. Let's take a look 10 years back in the NFC North. A look back into the history of the NFC North. Let's talk about the Detroit Lions. So the Detroit Lions, back in 2016, where were they? What happened? The year 2016, Jim, 10 years ago, Detroit was defined by the massive sports turnarounds. There was a pop-up cultural milestones and major urban reinvestment, leading to modern developments. Okay, so there was a little bit of an upswing for Detroit at that time. The Detroit Lions had a thrilling 9-7 season under coach Jim Caldwell and offensive coordinator Jim Bob Cooter. What a name. They clinched a playoff berth, but fell to the Seattle Seahawks in the wild card round. What makes me feel like this could be another one of those seasons for the Detroit Lions? I could see them kind of hanging around like a 9-8, maybe like a 10-7 kind of record and sneak in as a wild card. I could see them being like one of those like pesky NFC wild card teams.
I mean, yeah, they have the talent to make the playoffs as a wild card. I think if they play well enough, they could probably get the second or first wild card spot.
Oh, absolutely. Like you look at what they had back with Jim Caldwell, what they had with Matthew Stafford. Overall, though, like I think now that you are in the NFC North, the Detroit Lions, they have to really lock in because they've had a crazy amount of distractions. That Terrion Arnold story. I don't know if you heard of that situation in Detroit. Okay.
I don't believe I have.
Okay. Here, let's just for all of our viewers, let's just break it down real quick, and then we'll move on. So Terrion Arnold. Okay, so he just got released. Terrion Arnold. He got released after he was charged with 8 felony charges. That's kind of insane, right? So the Seahawks, Houston, they mentioned the free agent, Terrion Arnold, as one of the 4 NFL teams that have made inquiries about his future. It is thought the Seahawks will not further pursue the former first-round pick, so I think the Seahawks may be just backing off. Arnold is facing 8 felony charges related to a kidnapping case in Florida last month. So he was Florida man. His agent, Nicole Lynn. What's that?
100% Florida man.
Oh yeah, 100% Florida man. Like, you're just gonna go ahead and like kidnap someone? Okay. So Arnold is facing 8 felony charges related to a kidnapping case in Florida last month. His agent, Nicole Lynn, who also represents Jalen Hurts of the Philadelphia Eagles, so she's a great agent, testified in a court hearing Friday, so she's also a lawyer, on his behalf, and mentioned the interest of other teams as evidence for why he should not have to wear a GPS tracking device. So he has an ankle monitor, essentially, tracking him. As reported by several media outlets, including the Detroit Free Press, Lynn said Arnold, a first-round draft pick of the Lions in 2024, who was waived by the team in the wake of the charges, went unclaimed before becoming a free agent and had a workout this week with the Houston Texans. She added that the Seahawks, Indianapolis Colts, and New York Jets also made inquiries. Lynn said Arnold has a visit this week with one team and a visit next week with another one, without naming either team. ESPN later reported that Arnold took a physical in Houston on Thursday, and visits are planned with 2 more teams next week without naming them. There was no comment from the Seahawks. They don't start training camp until late July. So the request that Arnold wear that ankle monitor was denied. So he's still going to have to keep that ankle monitor on. He remains free to leave his home in Tallahassee, Florida, for working or attorney-related meetings. According to reports, Arnold was charged with leading a plot in February to detain and pistol whip 3 people from whom he believed had stolen luxury goods and $100,000 in cash from him. The total value was the stolen goods was estimated at more than $250,000, so $250,000. So the AP reported that later it was determined that the 3 people, including Arnold's personal driver, were not involved in the theft. 2 others charged in the incident have pleaded guilty and are cooperating with authorities, according to the AP. So this could get ugly for Terrion Arnold, especially if the 2 other co-defendants are cooperating with the authorities. So they might be trying to cut a deal and be like, hey, we'll give you the star, and whatever implications we will, like, hey, we're falling on the sword, but hey, can we save our friend, because we know that his career is literally just flashing in front of his eyes right now. So the 3 men in their late teens were held at gunpoint, battered, pistol whipped, and robbed in a Tampa Bay apartment on February 4th. Police said it was 3 days after Louis Vuitton bags and shoes, Rolex watches, a Bible, cash, and more were reported stolen from Arnold at an Airbnb rental in Largo, Florida, about 20 miles west. Arnold was described as the primary conspirator in the attack. Arnold, listed at 5'11" and 3/4 inches and 189 pounds, was the first team All-American at Alabama in 2023 before being drafted by the Lions. He played in 24 games, started 22 during his 2 seasons with Detroit. He was limited to 8 games last season due to a right shoulder injury suffered during his rookie season in 2024. That injury required multiple surgeries to repair this offseason. According to reports, Lions coach Dan Campbell said last month that Arnold was not assured of a starting position in 2026. It's just about competing, Campbell told reporters. We got a lot of good guys in that room, and he knows this. He's got to earn it. And then let's bring this back before we get on a tangent. The Detroit Lions are dealing with all of that. They have that distraction going into the season. You got Jared Goff. You got Jahmyr Gibbs. You lost David Montgomery to the Houston Texans. You also lost Anzalone as well. So you're losing some key parts, and then now you have Terrion Arnold, who you just outright cut 2 years into the program with the Lions. So the Lions are at a crossroads. I think this year needs to be one of those years where they just surprise people, and then I think they will be a sneaky wild card team, but beyond that, I don't see them winning the division. There's just too many shaky things going on with Detroit right now.
I mean, yeah, they have all these problems going on. It's just going to be what happens happened. I mean, at the end of the day, they just need to be better. They need to. I think they have the pieces to turn around to make a good run for the playoffs. It's just they got to stop this off-the-field antics.
I would agree. Yeah, because the culture shift needs to come, and the shift was there with Dan Campbell. I feel like, though, like every year removed from that magical run in 2023, where they got all the way to the NFC Championship game. It comes down to a couple decisions, whether you kick a field goal, whether you go for it, and then this past season where they missed the playoffs just altogether. So you get to that level now, like Detroit is it that point of like, hey, is your window just shut, Super Bowl window shut with this, this generation? Because obviously you got Jahmyr Gibbs, but like maybe Jared Goff is not the guy anymore. Or you need to figure out how to get this offense to help complement what you do best, and that's Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, you have to get Jahmyr Gibbs the ball, like, at premium levels. And I know that they were kind of struggling to do that, or kind of split share a little bit. And they did go get Isaiah Pacheco, to go run and just be a tough runner for the Detroit Lions. So that will be someone to watch. That'll be a player to watch for sure for this upcoming season. See if Detroit is able to really keep opponents honest with that split of the run pass.
Yeah, I mean they have either good players. I think Dan Campbell is going to have to just reel back of being that very aggressive style coach. I mean, he can still be aggressive. It just depends on how everything else goes, and like he can't do it all the time. He might step back with the aging team he's having right now.
Right, and they've been dealing with a lot of injuries. I don't know what's going on with Detroit, but yeah, they've dealt with like just a rash of injuries. We'll see how they do. I know Detroit is excited to start the season. Who does? Let me just pull it up here real quick. Now let's take a look at the 2026 Detroit Lions. So present day Detroit Lions. Detroit, week 1, preseason, they play the Cincinnati Bengals. That's like 5 weeks from today. You got Lions, Bengals, Lions, Commanders, Lions, Colts, and then now you get into the regular season. Week 1, the New Orleans Saints. They come to Detroit. So that will be a prove-it game for me, for Detroit. Because the way that they started last season should have been a telltale sign. They lost to Green Bay, and then Green Bay made that big move with Micah Parsons, and that was a huge momentum swing because they needed to beat Detroit because Green Bay was having issues with Detroit. Minnesota was having issues with Detroit. Everybody was gunning for Detroit last year, and we saw what happened. Detroit got. Early on, they were able to, take care of Chicago. They lost to Minnesota both times. They lost to Green Bay as well. I think they did get swept by Green Bay, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they got swept by Green Bay.
Yeah, I think it was the Thanksgiving. The Green Bay won. Yep. Jordan Love, Caleb Williams, J.J. McCarthy for the first game. They look pretty solid against this Detroit Lions defense. We'll see. I mean, this has been a NFC North history look back of 10 years with the Detroit Lions. And we'll see what this version of the Detroit Lions will look like come December and January. Well, Jim, I had fun. I learned a couple new things here. I didn't know that Wimbledon was already at the final stage. We got the Scottish Open, WNBA. We got a lot of stars in the Summer League and the NBA. And then we got UFC to look forward to with Conor McGregor and Max Holloway. So, yay. There we go. And LaMelo Ball. So a lot of no looks with LaMelo Ball. So yeah, really excited. And hey, NFC North history. We're gonna be doing the Chicago Bears next. So stay tuned for that. But until next time, here on the 94 podcast, I'm Brooke Edel, joined by my host Jim Bushy. Peace. Until next time, we'll see you at the TOP. And we're out.
Yeah.